Welcome back, everybody. Today I wanted to do another video in my how to clear a whatever kind of gun series. Today we're going to be focusing on revolvers, and I wanted to put out more of these videos and content like this because I know there are a lot of people that have been buying guns for the first time in the wake of this whole coronavirus pandemic thing, and I wanted to put that information out there. I know it may be hard or impossible to go to the range. You may not be able to get ammo. Ranges in your area may not be open. You may not personally feel comfortable going out and doing things, but I still want you guys to have some information, have some knowledge, be able to practice some of the basics and enjoy your new purchase and learn about it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to take a loaded revolver. I've got a couple on the table and they are both loaded right now, and I'm going to show you guys how to take the ammunition out of them. This information is also good for people who may not own a gun and may decide never to own a gun, but if you come across a loaded firearm and you want to be able to render it safe to take the ammunition out so that it can't be fired, this is really good information for you people to have as well. So let's go ahead and get started showing you guys how to do this. Alright guys, so of all the different kinds of guns in the world, revolvers are probably one of the simplest to unload. It's actually fairly simple. I have two representations here. One of them is a Colt, one's a Smith & Wesson. We're going to talk about both because there is a minor difference there. With the Colt here, now this is an older model Colt Detective Special. For a long time, Colt didn't produce revolvers, but they are making them again, so it's possible you have a new production Colt. Luckily, they're using the same basic design as the older ones in terms of how to operate it. If you look behind the cylinder on the left side of the gun, as you're holding it as if you were going to fire it, on the left side behind the cylinder, there is a little lever. Now you're going to take that lever, you're going to pull it backwards towards the back end of the gun. When you do that, you can then push from the right side of the gun on the cylinder carefully. You don't want to slam it or anything. That's another video I'll do later. And the cylinder will come out the side just like so. Once that happens, I'll show you guys here. You can see that cylinder is loaded. There is ammunition in this, but it's pretty easy to unload. You can do it one of two ways. You can either, obviously, during this entire process, you want to keep the firearm pointed in a safe direction, keep your finger off and away from the trigger. You can either hit the little ejection rod right here, push it up, and you see how it's lifting those rounds up. You can do that, or you can, if it's safe to do so, in most cases, upend the gun and the ammo will fall out. Now, as you're doing that, make sure you're not upending it and pointing it at your face. You still want to observe the basic rules of firearm safety. Upend it, and because these are unfired rounds, the case hasn't expanded to the exact dimensions of the walls of the cylinder, and I know I may be getting a little technical here, but when you fire it, when the explosion goes off, it can cause those cases to expand a little bit and they won't want to come out as easily. That's where the ejector rod really comes into play, is for those more stuck type cases. And then you can either close the cylinder back up very gently, just like I did, or you can leave it open and make it very apparent, very easy to see that this is an unloaded firearm. Set that aside, get all this ammo out of the way. And now let's move on and talk about the Smith & Wesson. Now this is not a typical Smith & Wesson revolver, this is a Performance Center model. However, the operation of the gun is exactly the same as any other Smith & Wesson and a lot of other guns based on the same design, knockoffs and things like that. For example, most if not all of the Taurus revolvers I've seen use a similar design and a similar loading and unloading method. For this one, if you look on the same spot as you did on the Colt, right behind the cylinder on the left side of the gun, there's a button in the same spot as on the Colt. The only thing is with this one, you don't pull it to the rear, you push it forward towards the muzzle of the gun. And then again, you can carefully swing that cylinder out towards the left. You can see that cylinder is loaded as well. And it's the same process from there. I can use the ejector rod, or if they're unfired, just turn the gun upside down and it works. Wow, those rolled a lot longer than I thought they would. And then either gently close the cylinder or leave it open. Either one is totally fine. Pretty simple process, right? So let me clean this mess up real quick and I'll be right back with you guys. All right, guys, a couple quick final thoughts on that. One, the way I was demonstrating this to you, showing you the left side of the gun, is not how I would typically unload one of these. Part of that's because I'm right-handed, part of it's because it's just easier to do when the gun is in your right hand, and you can use your right thumb to push that lever. Your left hand can swing the cylinder out. Your left hand can then operate the ejector rod. Your right hand can upend the gun to get the brass or the case or the rounds out, either one. Load it back up, close it. That's a whole different thing. But if I had done it that way on camera, you guys wouldn't have been able to see what I was talking about and pointing to, so I turned it around. Just so you guys are aware, it's probably going to be easier to use your right hand. Now, aside from that, like I said, revolvers are pretty simple to unload. And if you picked up a revolver for your first gun and you're watching this video to learn how to unload it safely, kudos, that's awesome. But there's still a lot of other information out there that you need to know. You need to learn and commit to memory the 4, or some people will say 4. I personally think there are 6 rules. That's a discussion for a different day, which I've already done a video on. But you need to learn the rules of firearm safety. You need to learn how to safely handle and manipulate your firearm. You need to know what's safe to load in your particular firearm, for example. Just a quick little tidbit on that subject and why it's important. This revolver is a .38 Special. This revolver is a .357 Magnum. Now, they're actually the same diameter bullet, and you can fire .38 Special ammunition out of a .357 Magnum. But you cannot fire .357 Magnum ammunition out of a .38 Special. If you do, if somehow you manage to get it in there and it doesn't stick out the front end of the cylinder and jam up the revolver, it could very possibly crack the frame of the .38 Special. It could, depending on, you know, if there's a microscopic metallurgical flaw or all kinds of different factors, it could blow the gun up in your hand. These are possibilities. Bottom line is, if you bought a .38 Special, please do not put .357 Magnum ammunition in it. If you bought a .357 Magnum, feel free to put .38 in there. It's cheaper, it doesn't recoil as much, it's great for training, and then you can either load your revolver with .38 Special defensive ammo or .357 Magnum, and the world is your oyster. So, just a quick aside there, but I wanted to point that out. I hope you guys find these videos useful. If you have any comments or suggestions for me on how I can make them better, please post those down in the comments below. And if you have any questions about anything that we talked about in this video or any similar subjects, you know, gun safety, how to clear out a other kind of gun, please put that in the comments below. Chances are I probably already have a video on how to clear out a specific type of firearm you may be interested in, but if not, I am planning on making more in the future. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really appreciate you guys watching. If you did like it, please hit the like button down below and the subscribe button right next to it as well. And then if you go ahead, ring the bell and set your notifications to all, that way you can make sure you get notified about every single new video I put out. That would be a really big help to the channel. I appreciate it. Also, share it with your friends. If you have first-time gun owner friends, or if you and a friend went and bought your first gun at the same time together recently, share the video with them, help them in their journey and their education when it comes to firearms. Plus, I mean, you know, if they're stuck at home right now like most people are, you know, they've got the time, and it's a really important subject. So anyway, really appreciate you guys watching. I hope y'all have a great day. Y'all stay safe out there. Take it easy, roll tide, and I'll see you later.